This dress started as a humble pillowcase. Add a third a yard of fabric and you'll have people saying, "No way that's a pillowcase dress." This tutorial is sponsored by allfreesewing.com. Turn the pillowcase inside out and fold it in half. Use one of your child's shirts as a guide. Mark a dot at the bottom of the armhole, a dot at the shoulder, and another dot at the front neckline. I'm using a permanent marker because my chalk wasn't showing up on video, but you'll want to use something water-soluble. Connect the dots to form a curved neckline, then connect the shoulder and underarm dots with a curve. Cut the dress in an A-line shape. You want to cut off the side seams of the pillowcase entirely. The front and back of the dress will be connected only at the shoulders. Sketch a narrow U on the back of the dress. This will become the button closure. Cut through one layer of fabric only. Next, we'll cut the sleeves. You'll need 4 half circles of fabric. I am using fabric I had cut from the neck area. Pin 2 sleeve pieces right sides together, then sew along the curved edge only. I'm using a 1/4 inch seam throughout this project. Notch the curve, being careful not to clip the seam. Turn the sleeves right side out and set aside. Now we'll work on the sash for a moment. You'll want to adjust the thickness and length of the sash depending on what size you're making the dress. Remember to add a 1/2 inch for seam allowances. I'm cutting mine 4.5 inches wide and 3 times the width of my daughter's waist. You'll need 2 of these sash pieces. You may need to join fabric strips to make the sash long enough. If you join fabrics, make sure to press your seam flat before continuing. Lay the 2 strips right sides together and pin. Sew along the edge, leaving one short end open for turning. Turn the sash right side out. Press the sash. Then turn the raw edges under a 1/4 inch and press. Then top stitch around the sash with a 1/4 inch seam. Next we'll work on the front bib piece. Sketch a U on the coordinating fabric. My U is the same width as my sash, but you can adjust the size to your liking. Cut out 2. Fold the fabric in half to check for symmetry. Trim if needed. Sew 3 buttons on one bib piece. Remember to leave room for the seams. Then place bib pieces right sides together and sew around the U, leaving the top open. Notch the curve so the seam line will lay flat. Turn right side out. Press the bib piece and the 2 sleeve pieces. Then fold the sleeves in half to find the center, lining it up with the shoulder seam on the dress. Pin the sleeves in place, aligning the straight edge with the edge of the dress. Sew in place with a 1/4 inch seam. If you'd like, you can serge, overlock, or use pinking shears on the seam to reduce fraying. Trim the edges of the sleeve if necessary. Now we'll cut a strip to make the bib's ruffle. Mine is 1.5 inches wide and came from the side of the pillowcase. It will need to be at least 1.5 times the length of the perimeter of the bib. Cut it out on the fold. Sew the raw edge with a basting stitch, but do not backstitch. Tug on the thread to adjust the ruffle to fit the bib. Pin the bib to the center front of the dress, lining up the top of the U with the neckline. Then pin the ruffle underneath the edge of the bib. Your dress should look like this. Then top stitch the bib in place. Now for the neckline. Unfold the bias tape and line up the edge of the tape with the neckline. Pin in place. Stitch in the ditch of the first fold line. Now we'll add a hair elastic for the closure. Sew in place with a zigzag stitch.
same place.
Snip off the excess elastic. Then fold the bias tape over the edge and sew in place with a straight stitch. I'm not going to give thorough instructions for using bias tape here because that would make this video a lot longer, but there are plenty of other tutorials online if you need help with it. Next, sew a button opposite the elastic. Your dress should look like this. To finish the dress, lay face down and fold over the sides of the dress a 1/4 inch and press in place, all the way down to the bottom. Sew the armholes of the dress down to the dot you marked in the beginning. Sew these separately. I used yellow thread so you can see it a little better, but you'll want to use something that blends in. Then pin the sides of the dress together starting below the armhole and sew shut. Finally, press the seams open and press the outside of the dress to finish. If you'd like, you can hand sew thread loops on the outside seams of the dress to keep the sash in place. Tie the sash in a knot in back or in a bow at the side. No matter how she wears it, you'll have people saying, "No way, that's a pillowcase." This tutorial was sponsored by allfreesewing.com. For more project ideas and tutorials, visit www.MadeByMarzipan.com.